Good morning. Can you hear me in the street? It's not often I say that. So, Lord Lieutenant, Mayor, civic dignitaries, distinguished guests, friends and colleagues, good morning and welcome. I'm really delighted to see you all here today to officially open this wonderful new space. The Digital Innovation Facility is a 12.7 million centre of excellence in emerging digital technologies and an important addition to the University Estate, to the Knowledge Quarter, and of course to the Liverpool City region. The University of Liverpool is a hub for digital research and innovation. Our experts seek to tackle global challenges, working to deliver better health, create wealth, and ensure social justice. And I'm pleased to say that our important work in this area has recently been recognised with the announcement, less than 2 weeks ago, of the latest Research Excellence Framework results. Conducted once every 7 years, the Research Excellence Framework, or the REF, sees independent experts rank and benchmark the quality and quantity of research at universities across the country. And the latest set of results place us in a brilliant 5th in the UK for world-leading research outputs in computer sciences and informatics, and 6th in the UK for outstanding research impact in engineering. It feels entirely fitting then that we are here today to celebrate the opening of this new facility with its state-of-the-art laboratories and the cutting-edge equipment necessary to support this exceptional work and accelerate its trajectory of success. And of course, the DIF is also specifically designed to share and amplify this success to the benefit of the city region, and the north of England. It has been a joint endeavour from the beginning, with co-funding from Liverpool City Region Combined Authorities Local Growth Fund. This purpose-built facility has always been intended to support collaborations and partnerships between academics, industry, and other organisations. It's been deliberately focused around 3 joint priority sectors: advanced manufacturing and engineering, low-carbon energy, and digital industries. And there's highly skilled support in place to facilitate enhanced access for businesses and organisations that wish to collaborate with university experts across multiple technology areas, including visualisation, artificial intelligence, data science, simulation and modelling. The university's Virtual Engineering Centre, STFC Hartree, the Civic Data Partnership and others are already here, co-located and turning these plans into reality. So, the spaces and facilities themselves are phenomenal. The Mixed Reality Lab contains the latest in VR technology and equipment, while the Extreme Environment Lab simulates real-world hazardous conditions to develop new and improved autonomous systems for unmanned vehicles. And meanwhile, the Immersive Laboratory is equipped to enable colleagues developing sensory technologies in areas of smell and touch for future tactile internet applications. And I realise that there are quite a lot of things going on in those laboratories that could be repurposed for stag and hen weekends, but I don't think we'll go there. But one thing that is certain is that discoveries will be made in this building over the coming years, and inward investment and economic growth will follow. And with that in mind, I'd now like to hand over to Dr. Andy Levers, Executive Director of our Institute of Digital Engineering and Autonomous Systems, who's going to say a little more on the DIF and our future ambitions.
Lord Lieutenant, Mayor, civic dignitaries, distinguished guests, and of course friends and colleagues. First, we'll do some domestic matters. It shouldn't come as a surprise that we don't have a fire alarm test today. So if you do hear an alarm, please leave the building or the marquee by the nearest available exit. Staff wearing yellow landlards, mostly, should be on land to help. You may be familiar with a question posed by, I think it was a Zambian-born economist, Dambisa Moyo, around when the best time to plant a tree was. And conventional wisdom would tell us it's either 20 years ago or it's today, which is quite a fitting analogy. The seeds of the Digital Innovation Facility were sown over 20 years ago in some of the research work coming from the School of Engineering from Professor Gareth Padfield into tilt-rotor aircraft. The work bore fruit via the creation of the UK's first digital industry accelerator, the Virtual Engineering Centre, which together with our friends and partners in the Hartree Centre and many blue-chip organisations, including IBM Research, Airbus, Bentley Motors, Jacobs, and BAE Systems, has continued to create significant industrial impact over the last decade. Further collaboration with the Liverpool City Region Combined Authority and other HEIs in turn led to LCR4, the UK's first SME-focused industrial digitalisation programme that's had significant impact again in the city, creating over 1,000 jobs. This long history of real-world impact from the university's digital research theme, with the generous support of the Liverpool City Region Combined Authority, led us to an ambitious collaborative vision that is the Digital Innovation Facility. The DIF embodies a simple, powerful principle. Co-locate the expertise of world-leading academics together with business to translate groundbreaking research into real-world applications. The Vice-Chancellor has already mentioned the significant impact and research quality that is contained within this building. We have 6 laboratories around 3 capability themes: immersive reality, autonomous systems, and automation and autonomous chemistry. Led by the Materials Innovation Factory, this is enabling acceleration of materials discovery that will have a profound effect on the planet and our economy. In addition to the laboratories in DIF, there is accommodation for collaborating partners, and I'm delighted that the Hartree Centre has chosen DIF as their first satellite office outside Daresbury. This unique concentration of expertise will further strengthen the innovation ecosystem that exists and is thriving within Liverpool City Region and will produce impact on a global scale. Each laboratory will open for demonstrations, starting with both the Trustworthy Autonomous Systems and Harsh Environments Lab, which are located down there, at around 12:30. And information will be displayed on the boards behind me to tell you when those labs will open. And again, please don't hesitate to ask anybody for help, and assistance will be delighted to assist with any queries that you might have. I look forward to welcoming you all back. Thank you.
Made the mistake of not using the step. So thank you very much, Andy. And it's now my pleasure to invite our guest of honour, tech entrepreneur, alumnus and visiting professor at the and I can't leave this out, absolutely mad Red fan. Sorry, Evertonians, suck it up again. So anyway, visiting professor at the University of Liverpool, Sir Robin Saxby, who will say a few words.
Lord Lieutenant, civic dignitaries, guests, and Patty, my wife, who I met here in '66. So when I came here as a kid, 65, we had a brand new electronics department. That had something to do with me coming here, but I also loved the Beatles, the rock and roll, and some other things. And I just love Liverpool. I'm a bit hungover and a bit down at the moment. I'm still recovering. And what I love about Liverpool is that emotion, that passion. So I'm going to tell you this little introduction. I think Liverpool is the best city in the world, just in case you didn't know. And so many great people from Liverpool are here. One of my old teachers, there he is, Joe. He had to teach me when I was a kid. I was difficult then. He's down at the University of Bristol, but he's come back. So what I love about Liverpool, it's not just Liverpool local, it's connectivity. And if we look at the history of this great city and what happened in Capital of Culture, the joined-upness, the joint campus in China, the connection to America. Again, my friend Brian West used to bring the Doors albums over, that, you know, as he did. So that connectivity is here. And again, being the world's best, the world's first radio transmitter was done here on Brownlow Hill by Sir Oliver Lodge. So we have a history of innovation and success. And I'll just tell you this little story because I think it sums up Liverpool. There was somebody from Birmingham, somebody from Manchester, and somebody from Liverpool. And they asked the question, what is Britain's second city? And the Birmingham guy said, Birmingham. And the Manchester guy said, Manchester. And the Scousers said, London. So I just want to remind you of that, this rich history, this rich passion. And then you can say, look at me, I'm just an engineer. I did some stuff in the lab here. And this is another thing which I think is very relevant to this innovation hub. I joined Rankbush Murphy. I was designing colour television receivers and decoders. It was the engineers who did that for a living that taught me about quality control, yield, and all these things you don't get in the textbook. Again, my own experience with Arm, which even though it's owned by SoftBank, it still actually had its best financial year last year. Over 225 billion chips have been shipped. So you've all got Arm chips in your pocket. Thank you very much, because when I used to work there, that gave me some royalty. Don't get any benefit today. It all goes to SoftBank, sorry. But when we started Arm, the idea came from Cambridge, and I was the chief executive with a bit of practical experience. And it was Apple, by the way. Apple put in the money, so did VLSI Technology. A lot of the British press talk about the British success story. The reality is Arm was global from day one, without the money from Apple and VLSI, and I'd been global. I happen to know a little bit about the UK. So the world today needs to be more joined up than ever. Unfortunately, politically, we're going in the opposite direction everywhere. However, I do believe that there will be a correction. We're going through a bit of nonsense at the moment, but to solve pandemics, to solve climate change, again, mental health is another area. So this facility, I really, really believe, is going to have a huge impact on the future of mankind. And I wish you all well, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job. And if I can start a business and it can be successful, I think anybody can do it, right? And I've been very lucky. And the other thing I do want to do, I thought, I met Patty all those years ago. She gave me that Liverpool grit, if you like, and she's still giving it to me. And I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to do better. So I think you've got a fantastic facility. What I love most is the academic, industrial collaboration by moving people in desks and buildings. The world is your oyster. I'm also going to mention my friend Nigel here, because he's actually, I angel invest in startups. He heads up a company called Graphcore that has got the world's most exciting chips. So in spite of political uncertainty, there's great opportunity on the planet, and people collaborating globally with a good footprint here can do a great job, and I wish you all the best of everything. Oh, and I do hope we win in Paris.
Thank you very much, Sir Robin, for that typically enlivening address. I think we can all agree that the links between academia and industry have never been more important. I'd now like to ask our Metro Mayor, Steve Rotherham, to say a few words.
Clap then. A dame, a nice, and a doctor. It sounds like the start of a gag, doesn't it? It wasn't, though, but it's wonderful to hear from Dame Janet and Dr. Levers, and of course Sir Robin. Very inspirational, genuinely, and some of the things that you've gone on to achieve have been wonderful, but we need more of it in the city region, as you know. I want to tell you about our aspirations for digital connectivity, because it follows on from what you've been speaking about, and the digital innovation facility here, which is something a long time in the making, but really, really important to the future. First of all, Janet, congratulations on your ref results, but it shows you, doesn't it, how fortunate we are to have such outstanding institutions on our own doorstep. And what we have here is one of the many jewels in our crown, a genuinely world-class centre of research and development where we only want to get better. I truly believe, as has just been said by Sir Robin, that we have all the assets locally. We have the capabilities, we have the foundations, and we do now have locally the political will, even if sometimes it jars with what's happening nationally. But that all comes together to make our region, the country's innovation engine. And I know we're up against stiff competition, by the way. I know there are other people who claim that. But what we do need now is a government to match that ambition, which brings me to why we're here today. When I was elected, first of all, as the mayor, I said that I was on a mission to make our city region the most digitally connected in the UK. And it's an ambition that was sparked during a gathering of global mayors in New York with Mike Bloomberg back in 2017. And I met a guy called Mayor Andy Burke from Chattanooga, and some of you will remember the song. Some of you are too young. I can split the audience if you put your hands up, but forget about that. You'll know who I'm talking about if you don't know what that is. But look, Chattanooga was once described by Walter Cronkite as America's dirtiest city. But its fortunes were transformed through the development of a publicly owned, ultra-fast internet infrastructure. And they became the first provider in the whole United States to offer gigabit speeds to more than 175,000 local homes and businesses. So I came away from that thinking about what we could do here. It was estimated that the smart grid generated £2.7 billion in community benefit over 10 years. And I was thinking, what could we do here? So as we speak, today and yesterday and tomorrow, we're putting 212 kilometres of digital fibre into the ground, connecting all 6 of our local authority areas. And it's called LCR Connect. And it does connect up all the 6 districts, but for me, more importantly, it connects 2 assets in our city region, which I think for far too long have sat in isolation. So we've got the Hartree supercomputer in STF in Holton. We've got the fibre optic cable that links the UK with Nova Scotia and North America, and it comes ashore on Southport. That's a digital loop now through all the 6 districts. It will give us the fastest speeds in the whole country, and it gives us the opportunity as well, because it's a joint venture partnership, to reap some of the rewards of that venture. And what we're going to do, we're going to equip people with the assets so that we can get the entrepreneurs to lead the 4th Industrial Revolution. And we're not just content with doing that. If we were to link that with a source of clean, green, predictable, renewable energy, like a tidal project or something like that, just imagine what that does. It sends our fortunes absolutely stratospheric. So we've committed to invest 5% of our GVA in research and development over the next few years, and that's nearly double what the government target is. And this is one of the projects, the Digital Innovation Facility is one of the projects where I think with the intelligence of local businesses, we can start to develop real-world applications for some of these things. And I'm really excited by big data and the possibilities of big data analytics coming out of this. But it means that we want to do more than just create great jobs, and we want to do an awful lot of that. We want our residents also to benefit from this. So it's been said, £12.7 million investment. But what it means is that our city region can attract greater levels of investment. It will mean that we can develop more entrepreneurs. We'll need to file more patents. We need more spin-outs of the great work that's been going on. We need to improve productivity. And by doing all of that, we can make our area prosper even more than it currently is. And again, just on what Sir Robin was saying, despite what some national politicians would have you believe, things aren't always a binary choice between economic growth or social justice. You can do both. And in this city region, we are doing both. There's no point in building a stronger economy if it leaves behind the very people it's supposed to help. It's what real levelling up looks like in action, and we're doing it in the Liverpool City region. So despite our illustrious past, I still feel, and I do this every day on the way into work, that our region's brightest days lie ahead of us. With your support, I'm absolutely confident that we can get there faster than any target set by national government. So hopefully we can count on the entrepreneurial and creative spirit of all of you here today. Together, we can genuinely reimagine, reposition, and reshape the Liverpool City region into the fairest, most connected, and truly innovative area in the whole country. Thanks a lot.
The Mayor's having an unaccustomedly shy moment. I think you need to be this side.
Okay. Last time I saw curtains like this, I never saw my dad again, you know.
Hang on. Just Pace yourself, Steve.
Yeah.
So, Steve's already said it. A shared vision for the future of the Liverpool City region is what's driven this project. And so, just wait for me to get out of the way. But I would like, and this is for the benefit of the people outside, I would formally like to invite you to open the Digital Innovation Facility.
Well, it genuinely does give... Have you spelled the plaque right? I'll soon see. It gives me great pleasure because this is something that I think people will look back on as the start, the catalyst of something special for this city region. Indeed.
Pleasure. Hold the curtain. This is all too much with one hand. I can't hold curtains and take badges.
You got it?
There we go. Thanks, Steve. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see those.
Right. Lovely. There's another speech, so we need to come.
Oh, right.
Thanks, Steve. And if I can just... Oh, yeah, of course.
What have I got to do?
Of course.
Doesn't
So,
tell.
here we go.
Okay. Well done. Good work. Good luck. Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, I can see that.
Gemma, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Oh, well done. Great work. Absolutely great.
So, just before we close formal proceedings, so Robin, Steve, thank you again for your kind words and for being with us today. So finally, I would just like to introduce my colleague, Professor Wiebe van der Hoek, Executive Pro-Vice Chancellor for the Faculty of Science and Engineering, to close with a few final words of thanks.
Thank you, Janet. Distinguished guests, friends and colleagues, it's my pleasure to speak a few words of thanks. I'll start with the start, the emerging of a digital steering group in 2014-15 at the University of Liverpool, with Ken Badcock as a driver and Katie Atkinson as a key player from day one. Digital was built on a research strengths in computer science, but we were determined that digital should be all-inclusive and not just a computer science hobby horse. The digital theme is thriving, now co-chaired by Katie and Alex Singleton. The idea of the DIF initiated from the steering group, and in particular Ken Badcock too. The idea of the DIF evolved from producing hardware to software and systems and platforms. But again, the design of the building shows our thoughts of inclusivity, with collaborative spaces and state-of-the-art equipment. I'm very excited that several schools within the faculty, and indeed partners across the university and beyond, are already engaged with projects within the DIF. Of course, no idea can foster without being fed, and I'm very grateful for the support that the Liverpool City Region Combined Authority and the University of Liverpool have put in to make DIF a reality. This support was not only financial. From LCR, I want to mention John Whaling for this continuous support for innovation with a capital I, Deborah Sayers, Monitoring Officer for the DIF, and our friend Simon Reed from the Growth Platform, always encouraging civic partnerships. We had many project control group meetings with sustained valuable inputs from Katie again and from Ian Patterson, for instance, and Alison Riley, who kept the finances in check throughout the project. On the practical side, the project would not have been possible without support from FRCS, in particular Steve Taylor and Steve Taylor and Tony Mulhern. We also benefited from input of Lynn Dwyer and Dave Bauman from the Virtual Engineering Center in Daresbury, encouraging the birth of a sibling on campus. IBI were outstanding as architects, very adaptive to our request for a modern red brick facility. And also thanks to John Turner's construction group. When campus was in lockdown, I sometimes cheered myself up by checking my diff webcam and seeing work progress on just this one location. Last but not least, the whole project was guided from day 0 to finish and beyond by a man who stood steady during many a storm. When activity stopped because of the pandemic, materials couldn't be delivered, or when I asked for a tour for the delegation on a very short notice, this man doesn't even blink an eye while keeping a smile and a formidable personality. Andy Leavers. So, on behalf of the university and the Faculty of Science and Engineering, I would like to thank Andy for seeing this project through to today, where we are celebrating the DIF's official opening. I'd like to give an applause for everybody I mentioned. So that's it. Lunch will be served here, and outside there will be continuous running demos, so you don't have to sign in or wait for the group to start, and the labs will be open throughout the lunchtime. Thank you.